Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be making some leatherette labels on the Glowforge. This is a really simple project, so easy to do. I have the Glowforge Basic. By the way, if you're interested in purchasing a Glowforge, I do have links in the description below. If you use those links, it will save you a little bit of money, and I'll get a little commission on the side. It doesn't cost you anything, but it is worth it to save that money. The fun thing about what I'm doing today is I found this really cool leatherette on Etsy. I will link it in the description below where I got it. All these different colors, but the really cool thing about it is this one is pink, but when you engrave it, the engraving is going to be in silver. This one's navy, that will be silver. This one's rawhide, that will be the color you would expect rawhide to, kind of that darker brown. This one is black and it will laser in gold, and this is black and it will engrave in silver. So it's going to make some really cool labels. Now, one disclaimer: before you use any faux leather in your laser machine, make sure that it is laser safe. Not all faux leather is laser safe. It could melt if you're just using something that is not. So make sure, again, that you check your machine, check the manufacturer instructions, make sure that the leather that you're using or faux leather that you're using is safe for your machine. Now I'm just going to do a couple of labels. I don't want to mass produce these until I see what they look like. I haven't used this yet. I'm really excited to give it a try. It's a super simple project on the Glowforge. I'm using the Glowforge Basic. They do have a Glowforge Pro and the Glowforge Plus. So there's a little bit of difference in between each machine. I have the Basic and it is able to do everything that I need it to do. So without further ado, let's get started on this super simple project. I'm excited to see how these turn out. So I just put the navy with silver engraving piece of fabric or piece of leatherette in the Glowforge. Turned it on, closed the lid, and it's doing what it's called homing. And all it does is look at the material, kind of decide where it's at, what's happening, and it's going to project a picture of the material on the screen in just a moment. Okay, so you can kind of see the picture of the leather. Here was just a test cut that I did. We're going to go in and start from scratch. So the first thing you do, I have the free version of the Glowforge software. That is just a basic software that can tell the Glowforge whether you want to engrave, cut, score, and you can set the settings, and that's about it. There's not a lot of editing you can do. I prefer to create in Illustrator, but you can use PNG files, SVG files, you can use JPEG files, whatever your preferred software is to create in. That's what I suggest you do. You can upgrade to the premium version. You can see here, if you upgrade, it's $50 a month, or if you pay yearly, it's $19.92 a month. I just don't use the software enough to warrant that cost, and it is still somewhat limited in what you can do. So again, I'm just using the free version of the software, and that's perfectly fine for me. So I put the material in the Glowforge, closed it, it scanned. You can see a picture of it right here. Now we need to get our new image. So we're going to click on the plus sign, click upload. You're going to navigate to where you have the software, or the file. Mine's right here. We're going to click open. Now, typically when the Glowforge looks at a file, it considers anything that has a solid fill or a solid color to it that you want to engrave it, and anything that's just a single line, it assumes that you're going to be cutting that. You can change it, but when you're designing, you might want to keep that in mind. So you can see if it looks at it over here, it's already kind of looked at it, and it's in the different layers that I have. So here is the handmade by Lorrie Nunemaker and the heart. This is the 3 girls. You can see if you click on it which one it is, and these are my cut lines. So I made them all in different layers, which is very helpful when you're doing Glowforge and you're going to be doing cutting and engraving. So typically, if you're using a Glowforge material, you'll have a UPC code in the corner of your material, and that will tell the Glowforge what we're using. Since we're not using a Glowforge material, we're using this material that we purchased from Etsy, and again, it's linked in the description below. We need to create our own settings. I've already done it, but I'm going to show you. So the first thing you do is, let me back up. The first thing we want to do is set focus. So we're going to click on the three dots and you're going to click set focus, and then you're going to click on the area of the material where you're going to be creating. And I'm just going to do it right here. And all that does is tell the Glowforge, hey, take a look, see how thick this material is, so that you know where it is when you start to engrave and cut. So that's the first thing you want to do, is set your focus. And I do that every time. You don't have to do it. It'll still work if you don't. But especially when you're using a material that is not a Glowforge material, it helps to do that because it determines more or less how thick it is. It's looking to see how far it is from the camera eye. All right. So now we need to go in and tell it, do we want this cut? Do we want it engraved? And since we don't have Glowforge settings, we have to make our own. So we're going to go into Enter Settings. And for this part of the file, the Lorrie Nunemaker, I want that engraved. So I'm going to click on Engrave. And then again, I didn't have a material set up, so I need to set it up. So I checked with the owner of the Etsy shop, and they gave me some settings. So we're going to try those. So I set it up as metallic leatherette engrave. I'm going to click on that and I'll show you the settings. So what they suggested was a 1000 speed, 30 power, 170 lines per inch, and 1 pass. If you need to set that up yourself and you want to save it, you just click this plus line and click Save As, and you can name it. So that's what we're going to have for that one. And you can see the settings right here. That's now set on Engrave, 1030. We're going to do the exact same thing for this section. So we're going to go back to Leatherette, Metallic, Engrave. And you can see I've got the exact same settings there. And for the cut lines, that's a different setting. So I set up a leather cut line, and those settings are 250 speed, 70 power, 1 pass, and we'll be good to go on that. Now for the metallic, the ones that engrave in metallic, those are the settings. If you're using the regular leatherette that is not metallic, then your settings are going to be 1000 speed, 30 power, 225 lines per inch. The cut is the same for both the metallic and the leather. All right, so we've got this set. This one's set on metallic leather engrave. This one's set on metallic leather engrave. This one's set on cut. So all that's left to do is click the print button right here, and then it's going to tell me how long it's going to take. It's going to process. And actually, I'm going to cancel that. Dismiss, and I'm going to move some of these around, and so I'm not wasting material. Just going to move that over there. All right, so now we're going to click print. It's going to take 7 minutes 59 seconds. All we have to do is click print on the Glowforge and let it go. Finished printing, and if you notice, I checked it before I moved it at all, and the engraving looks awesome, but it did not cut all the way through. So what I'm going to do is click dismiss. I'm going to go back to my cut settings right here, and I need to either A, slow it down, or B, increase the power, or increase the number of passes. I think what I'm going to do is give it a little bit more power, so I'm going to try 90 for the cut. I'm going to click save, and now I'm going to go here on the engraving because I don't need it to engrave it again. I'm going to hit ignore, and I'm going to hit the other engraving and hit ignore. So all it's going to do this time is cut. So again, you have to play with it. Every laser varies from, laser to laser, and every product varies. So it's not unusual for this to happen. All right. So all it's going to do is do the cut lines. And again, it's very important that you don't move it at all until you check it, because you can always rerun it. It's going to take 29 seconds to rerun the cut lines. So this will tell us real quickly if we've cut through. So here's our finished labels. You can see the blue with silver, the rawhide, the pink with black, gray with black, black with silver and black with gold. These turned out so good. I am so happy. Again, sometimes you're just going to have to tweak the settings a little bit to make it work with your particular machine. But all in all, the settings they suggested worked pretty well. I just had to increase a little bit of power on that cut line. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to click that bell so that you're notified every time there's a new video. Also, there's a link if you're interested in purchasing a Glowforge in the description below the video, as well as a link to this two-toned leather. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time, never stop making. See ya. Bye-bye.